Good food, good education, and good friends are all you need to raise good kids? Let me explain the Don Bosco way. The Miracles and Prophecies of Saint John Bosco, a project of America Needs Pharma. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today, we're diving into a world of Saint John Bosco's unique approach to nurturing young souls. At a time when many struggled to connect with youth, Don Bosco found a recipe for success that still resonates today, and we'll explore how he combined simple pleasures, education, and genuine friendship to transform the lives of countless boys. Before we begin, let's consider a couple takeaway points for today. 1. The importance of balancing joy and discipline in education. And 2. How treating each child as an individual, regardless of background, can lead to profound personal growth. Now here's a question for you. How might Don Bosco's approach come in conflict with modern ideas of raising young boys? If you find this story inspiring, consider becoming a monthly promoter to support the ongoing mission inspired by Don Bosco. The details are in the description box down below, but now let's get into that story. On the day following the Feast of the Holy Rosary, it was customary for Don Bosco and his boys to be guests of Father Cinzano. With some parishioners, Father Cinzano would set up a fireplace in the yard and cook an enormous pot of polenta. After receiving a warm welcome on their arrival, some boys would help to set up for the meal while the choir entertained Father Cinzano by performing classical selections. A must in their program was the inclusion of compositions by Savio Mercadante, a contemporary Italian composer who specialized in operas. Afterward, when the steaming polenta was ready, it was solemnly carried to the center of the yard while the band played a popular song as accompaniment. Then, after the boys had found a seat, they were served first with polenta and then a variety of cold cuts and fruits, which they consumed with delight. Later, Don Bosco and his young clerics would sit down at a more comfortable table with Father Cinzano, who also invited the neighboring pastors to honor Don Bosco. In reference to the saint, he would tell the others, "Wait and see, he will go very far." Don Bosco was most respectful toward Father Cinzano and always paid him the customary homage of kissing his hand. This act of respect made a deep impression on the boys. Finally, the time would come to leave. A few boys who were in poor health would stay on at Becky, while the rest, well supplied with provisions by the pastor, would set out for their beloved oratory in Turin, which they would reach about 9 in the evening after a brief stop in Chieri. They were tired, but happy because they had brought home a precious relic for their parents. A little piece of plaster or brick from the small room where Don Bosco had lived as a boy. One year, when Don Bosco returned to Turin, he found a letter from Duchess Montmorency. And Duchess Montmorency had entrusted 2 of her protégés to Don Bosco. They were brothers who belonged to an impoverished French noble family. During that summer, she allowed them to vacation at Borgo Cornale after they had boarded for over a year at the oratory. Grateful for their progress, she wrote the following letter to Don Bosco, dated October 22nd, 1855. Dear Don Bosco, I wanted to be the first to write and thank you for the excellent care you have taken of my 2 youngsters during my prolonged absence. But you anticipated me. Both boys look wonderfully healthier, chubbier, and taller. One has made progress in drawing, the other in Latin. But more important than anything else, both have matured, and Louis especially. They no longer squabble and fight. Henry has made wonderful progress in drawing, and I am grateful to Mr. Tomasini and Mr. Pyre for the reference. My footman, the bearer of this note, will pick up the boys' belongings except for trunks, desks, and other small pieces of furniture which you had to buy for them. He will also settle any outstanding bills. Before you pay me the visit, which I am so looking forward to, I will call on you this coming Monday, weather permitting. I do not like to travel when it's raining. Everyone here is well and will joyfully welcome your appearance. I'm using the right word. Your visits don't last longer than a flash. Very respectfully yours, Duchess Laval Montmorency. This letter proves Don Bosco's interest in the spiritual welfare of wealthy boys, as well as the impoverished. He visited them in their palatial homes and counseled them, either orally during their visits or through short, effective letters. I will read one of them to you right now. Dated Turin, June 28, 1855. My dear Octavius, exams are coming, and you tell me you are praying to St. Aloysius. Well, that's good. Try to develop a lively faith in this saint's protection, and you'll certainly do well. I'll join you in praying. Don't fret about not having more retentive memory. Just use the memory you've got, and you'll improve it. Should a better memory be necessary for your spiritual welfare, God will give it to you. I would like to talk to you about some other things too, and I hope to have an opportunity to do so after your examinations. Tomorrow, a plenary indulgence may be gained here at the oratory of St. Francis de Sales. You should try to gain one too. Give my respects to your mother and to the whole family. Love me in the Lord, yours affectionately, Father John Bosco. The parents of these boys were grateful to Don Bosco for his help in their son's education, and in a certain sense, they willingly delegated their own authority to him. Some regularly brought their sons to him for confession. They most willingly allowed him to be on familiar terms with their sons, a thing they would never permit to tutors or anyone else not of noble lineage. Don Bosco also welcomed some of these boys as guests at the oratory for weeks and even months on end. Their parents entrusted them to him for various reasons: preparation for First Holy Communion, tutoring and schoolwork, spiritual improvement through the example of the oratory boys, amendment of their conduct, and other things as well. They were never disappointed in the results. Throughout the years, boys of noble families constantly lived under the same roof as Don Bosco's poor boys. Whether of poor or noble birth, many graduates of the oratory went on to contribute greatly to Christian civilization. A few of note were Dominic Bongiovanni, who many years later built the Church of St. Alphonse in Turin. Also the young John Bonetti of Cautamanga. When he was 17, he earned the affectionate nickname Papa among his classmates because of his sedate manners. One day, Papa would become a distinguished member of the Salesian Society. Now, to return to life at the oratory, I have one little story of a boy who would perhaps become the most well-known disciple of Don Bosco, even though he did not live to reach manhood. His name was Dominic Savio. The story goes like this. Towards the end of October, another boarder was enrolled at the oratory. His talent in painting and sculpting had earned him a scholarship from his native town to continue his studies in Turin. He was just recovering from a serious illness. Whatever the reason, whether he was still weak, or maybe just homesick, or maybe lonesome because he had not yet made any friends, he kept completely to himself, just watching the others play. Dominic Savio saw this and tried to cheer him up. Their conversations ran more or less like this. "You don't know anyone here, do you?" Dominic said. "No, but I like to watch everyone play. What's your name?" "Camillo Gavillo." "I'm for Totone." "How old are you?" 15. "You don't look very happy. Have you been sick?" "Very sick. I had an attack of a fever and haven't gotten over it." "I guess you wish you were strong again." "Not really. I wish to do God's will." Dominic immediately recognized Gavillo's exceptional piety and goodness. Do you mean that you want to be a saint? He continued, Yes, very much. Good. Then let me tell you how to go about it. Here at the oratory, we make holiness consist in being very cheerful. Our only worry is sin, the great enemy of our souls that can rob us of God's peace and grace. We try to carry out duties diligently and to pray willingly. You can start right now and take as your motto, serve the Lord in gladness. Dominic's words were like a balm and greatly comforted the new member of the oratory. From that day on, he became Dominic's faithful friend and perseveringly imitated his virtues. Could simpler times and a simpler approach be the secrets to Saint John Bosco's success with the oratory boys placed in his care? Perhaps, but let's not forget that every age comes with its challenges, and Don Bosco met those of the mid-19th century with a smile, complete confidence in Our Lady, especially under her title Help of Christians. In imitation of her sweetness, he loved each boy placed in his care, regardless of their economic or social status. He understood that God's love extends to the rich and the poor alike, to the intelligent and the awkward alike. Let us follow Don Bosco's examples as we face the challenges of our own century. It is only with complete confidence in Our Lady and her Fatima promise of triumph that we too may take as our motto, serve the Lord in gladness. Speaking of serving the Lord with gladness, will you serve the Lord today by helping further the mission of the salvation of souls with your pledge of support? Help promote the work of God and Our Lady. As a monthly promoter of the miracles and prophecies of Saint John Bosco, you'll receive spiritual benefits, including Mass remembrances and daily rosary intentions. Your generosity not only supports our mission, but also connects you more deeply to the work of Saint John Bosco. Depending on your level of support, you may receive beautiful religious items that serve as tangible reminders of Don Bosco's enduring legacy. One offering that I'm particularly excited about is this set of 2 books, Sacred History and Roadmap to Heaven. Both authored by Don Bosco himself, these books embody Don Bosco's gift for speaking to hearts of all ages. They're the perfect length for young readers, yet contain enough wisdom that even a bishop would appreciate it. Your monthly gift, no matter the amount, makes a real difference. It helps us shape future generations with Don Bosco's values and wisdom, continuing his work of nurturing young souls through education, faith, and joy. The link to become a monthly promoter is in the description box down below, so join us in this vital mission and be a part of Don Bosco's lasting impact on the world. Today, we've witnessed how Saint John Bosco used simple yet powerful methods to nurturing young souls through shared meals, educational opportunities, and genuine friendship. He created an environment where boys could grow in goodness, discipline, and knowledge. The lessons that we can draw from this is clear. By showing genuine interest in the lives of young people and providing opportunities for growth and joy, we can make a lasting impact on their futures. Now, what did you think about today's episode? What stood out to you the most? Leave a comment in the comment section down below because I would love to know what your thoughts are, and I'm sure others will as well. Thank you for joining me today. Saint John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.